Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and today is a somewhat special video today. This is going to be that of the lineup for my Dekuverse story, which is going to be that of a special given the end of My Hero Academia. And many of the variants of Izuku are going to be quite interesting. I'm only going to be going over, quick analyzation details about who they are and their selves, but I won't be going into their backgrounds entirely. Only like a small summary, after all. So if you want me to go through their whole backgrounds, then you guys are gonna have to wait until the full story comes out in each chapter, exploring them too. So yeah. At any rate, with all that said, let's get into this. First off, we have that of main canon Izuku, of course. I mean, it was no brainer that the main canon Izuku is going to be in this story, since this takes place in the canon universe of MHA. Hero name Deku. Quirk one for all. Current Deku right after the hero rankings when Endeavor and Hawks fought against high-end Nomu Hood. It only takes place at least out of 2 or 3 days after that event. So yeah, current love interest, Ochako Uraka. Well, of course. Quote, I have been blessed with so many good people in my life, and because of them, I'm able to reach where I am now, to become one of the world's greatest heroes. Now with Izuku, main canon Izuku out of the way, now let's go to that of the variant. Starting with that of the 4 original variants, from that of fanfiction after all. And I'm not taking any versions from that of fanfictions that already are taking inspiration from. These are all original Dekus that have different variants and stories. If they are similar to other, what-ifs and fanfictions out there, then I am sorry. It's just a coincidence because, again, these backstories and characters just fell off the back of my head after all. First off, Villain Deku. Villain name, King. Quirks, Shadow Manipulation, and Energy Conduit. Quick details about these quirks. The quirks basically allow that of Izuku to manipulate shadows. Energy Conduit basically conducts energy. However, channel that energy through that of his Shadow Manipulation quirk, and you got that of a pure quirk that can shoot blast of darkness. Almost like that of the Keys of Darkness from Goku Black, if you think about it. But more green and black instead of yellow and black after all. So yeah. Love interest, Himiko Toga. Well, it was obvious. It's a villain Deku. Of course Himiko is going to be his love interest. Here's a quote from King. You believe that the League corrupted me? No. Society corrupted me. All for one, Shigaraki and the League saved me, while society abandoned me. That's why I'll destroy Hero Society and rebuild it anew. Next up on the list, female Deku. Real name, Izumi Midoriya. Hero name, Dekiru. Yeah, I'm choosing that of Dekiru, the original meaning that Deku basically chose for that of his hero name, thanks to Ochako after all. So yeah, for that of female Deku's hero name. Quirk, one for all. And honestly, I don't really need to explain One for All because whoever doesn't know what One for All is for a story like this, it just feels like it's meaningless. I probably will explain it during the story, but for this, not really necessary. Love interest, Shoto Todoroki. Quote, I'm not alone because I have everybody at UA. I have my friends and mentors by my side. It's because of them and others out there who need help. I'll always stand for what's right. Alright, here is the last member of the big 3 of fanfiction Dekus, Vigilante Deku. Name, Izuku Midoriya. Vigilante code name, Night Stalker. Quirk, Quirkless. Yeah, quirkless vigilante Deku. Trust me, you're going to love this guy when you see him in person. Love interest? Cammy. I can't say her last name. I'm sorry, guys. It's a tongue twister for me. You may be wondering why she, well, this version's, well, love interest. I have my reasons, which you'll see why. A quote from this version: Hero society is flawed. That is true. But that doesn't mean innocent people have to suffer from those flaws. I'll protect people, even if I have to do it from the shadows. And last but not least, we have that of female villain Deku. Name Izumi Midoriya. Villain name Lady Thread. Quirk Silk. Allows her to create threads that are stronger and lighter and more durable than any other silk created by insects. The silk can become even stronger than that of tungsten and titanium itself. Her love interest: Dabi, aka Toya Todoroki, and Tomura Shigaraki, aka Tenko Shimura. Yeah, you heard me. She's basically dating both Dabi and Shigaraki. I know that seems weird, but trust me, I have my reasons why. And to be honest, few of the Dekus I'm creating have their very own harems, so it wouldn't be weird for that of a female version to at least have her own somewhat small harem after all, even though I don't count this as a harem. Quote from her: just as Best Gina said, heroes, villains, we are all cut from the same cloth. The only difference is, one side is considered good while the other is considered bad. Even though the hero society of today is the reason the bad even exists. And those are the original Dekus for that of this Dekuverse story. Now moving on to that of my Dekus from my What-If channel, or rather my main channel after all. Some of you may know them, while some of you are getting that of a crash course on some of them. So just hold your peace. First up, Soldier Deku. This Deku is based off that of my What If Izuku had Cloud Strife's powers. One of my first many What Ifs that I started on this channel after all the way back in 2018 actually. So yeah, name Izuku Midoriya. Hero name Soldier. Quirk Enhanced Human, and One for All. Yeah, I know, it's crazy giving Izuku One for All while also having his own quirk, which is similar to that of Cloud's powers. Back then, when doing that of What Ifs on early on, this is before the whole One for All basically kills its users by shortening their lifespans if they already have quirks. So yeah, and you probably say, but you could have basically kept it that way. This is a What If. I keep things pretty close to canon when I do What Ifs. If it was a fanfiction, then I can basically get rid of that rule, but it's not. A lot of people forget that there's a difference between What Ifs and fanfiction. That little rant out of the way, Izuku's first quirk, being that Enhanced Human, basically gives him the same powers as that of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. Superhuman strength, speed, durability, and power to manipulate his aura to send out that of powerful, devastating attacks. Enhanced with that of the power of One for All, he reaches the same destructive capabilities as Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, quite the one of my more overpowered versions of Izuku after all. Love interests: Ochako Uraraka and Tifa Lockhart. Yeah, you heard me right. Both Ochako and Tifa are this version of Izuku's love interests. And if you guys want to understand the reason why, then go and check out that of my What If. It's one of my older videos, so there is a playlist for it. Go check out my main channel to do so. A quote from this version of Izuku: unless you got the words to back it up, you're literally nothing but just talk. I refuse to be nothing but words when I know I should be able to save a person in front of me. The next Izuku, Assassin Deku. From my What If Izuku was an assassin. This one is kind of a special one for me because this was my second subscriber special for my channel back in the day when I reached out of 2K subscribers. I won't lie, that brings back memories. Name Izuku Midoriya. Assassin alias the Reaper. Quirk quirkless, but was taught in superhuman training. Love interest Himiko Toga. Yes, another Deku with a love interest, that being Himiko. And trust me, there's going to be a lot of variants with that of the same love interest. And you may be wondering why I'm bringing up love interest in this. Oh, trust me, you'll see why. A quote, "It's true that I kill for money, but I only kill those who are deserving of it. I do my research on my targets ahead of time. Just because I am called the Reaper doesn't make me a mindless killer." Next up on this list, Shonen Jump Deku. Yeah, I'm adding one of my most powerful variants into this fiction as well. Mainly because, well, there's going to be another overpowered variant for that of my fanfic side, but so I gotta make at least some things even here and there. Comes from What If Izuku was trained by all of the Shonen Jump protagonists. So yeah, all protagonists from that of Shonen Jump. Well, at least from that of Shonen Jump protagonists, that's powers that can be transferred to other people or learned actually. So anything that's basically exclusive to them that can't be transferred or learned isn't easily. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that when I first made that series. But it's okay, it's alright. Hero name, Omni-Hero Deku. Of course, he's still sticking with the name Deku, of course. Like I said, I don't change a lot of, canon when it comes to that of my what-ifs. I like to keep things quick and to the point, after all. Quirk, jump travel. Basically allows him to travel through the entirety of the Shonen Jump multiverse. Mainly that of canon timelines only though, where he's able to learn and train with that of the best of the Shonen Jump worlds to grow stronger. Due to this, he's gained that of the arsenal of many Shonen Jump protagonists and a few other heroes as well. Love interests, a small harem composed of Yu Takeyami, aka Mount Lady, Momo Yaoyorozu, Ochako Uraraka, and Nejire Hado. So yeah, a direct quote from him, "I wanted to be a hero to protect others, but with this power, and with gaining other powers as well, I'll be able to be a hero to protect the world." Alright, next up are basically two what-ifs, one that is supposed to come out in the near future, hopefully, while the other I basically dropped because I had no interest in continuing doing it after all. Too much of a hassle. First up, the upcoming one, Deku Bad Guy. Basically, what if Izuku had Soul Bad Guy's powers? This what if was supposed to come out after I finished that of what if Izuku had Ragna the Blood Edge's powers, which is still ongoing actually. But luckily, I may be able to finish the what if in only a few more parts actually. Hopefully though. Knowing my luck, probably not, but still I'll try. Main name, Izuku Midoriya. Side main name, Izuku Bad Guy. He was a Midoriya, but then he changed his last name due to certain complications after all. Hero name, Burning Hero, Guilty Gear. Quirk, Dragon Install. Basically allows him to conjure and create flames, while also being that of a semi-transformation quirk that transforms his body into that of a human-dragon hybrid. Not the same size as that of Ryukyu, but more human-based though. Main love interest, Ochako Uraraka. Direct quote, "Hero, villain, it's all the same to me. Piss me off good enough and I'll give you a good thrashing." Next up, being that of the what if I dropped due to being too much for me after all. This is Wizard Deku. Basically, what if Izuku was a wizard from Wizard 101? Yeah, basically this was going to be tied to that of the MMORPG card RPG game, otherwise known as Wizard 101. I won't lie, I was pretty addicted to that game back when I was a kid in middle school. And I also love the battle mechanics and the creatures that we can summon. So I kind of figured it'd be interesting, but realized that it's been years since I played Wizard 101, and there's not a lot of good lore videos on Wizard 101. So I basically just decided to just cut it off entirely. I may do it in the future, but that's a slight may, not entirely. At any rate, let's go straight into this, being that of Izuku's main name, Izuku Midoriya, which hasn't changed, of course. Hero name, Storm Hero Tempest. Quirk, quirkless, but magically skilled. Able to take cards and summoning them into that of reality. He's also skilled in that of close quarters combat using that of his magic staff as a melee weapon. Main love interest, Midnight, aka Nimire Kayama. Yeah, he was going to fall in love with a teacher. You can't really blame him given that he's basically gone through 2 schoolings, so. As for the quote from this version, magic is just a mere tool. It can be used by literally anybody, but to me, I believe those who use magic to help others are the true heroes. That's why I want to be just like them and live up to that title of hero. And that takes care of that of my main channel's Deku variants. Next up being that of my fanfiction channel's Deku variants. Oh, and trust me, these ones are going to be quite interesting. And since I haven't really completed any of my, fanfictions right now, mainly because I do them for fun and I don't have any point of rushing through them to complete them because, like I said, this stuff is just for fun and I have no obligation to continue doing them. So yeah, first up on one of my ongoing series and one of my very first fanfics that I did on this channel, being that of Isekai Deku, or the title was The Radiant Hero of Light and Darkness. Some of you may be surprised that I'm still continuing this series, but even though I haven't uploaded for it in a long time, I'm sorry guys. Trust me, this series is still going on. I just need time to upload chapters for it. So just be patient. Name, Izuku Midoriya. Hero name, don't really have one. More of a title, actually. And that title is the Balanced Hero. One who is able to manipulate the light while able to control the darkness. Quirk, quirkless. Only able to use that of magic and that of human peak strength from that of magic arts, martial arts, and fusion arts. He also has that of a companion that he calls Zephyr, Zed for short. As for his love interest, and he also has a harem of himself. Hey, if you're not an isekai protagonist unless you have a harem after all, even though I feel like a few of them don't even deserve one. From the other world, first wife Ymir Arkan, or finding out that of her father's last name, Summers, now goes by Ymir Midoriya. Second wife, Sophia, goes by Sophia Midoriya. Third wife, Maylene Lucas, now goes by Maylene Midoriya. Fourth wife, Sakura Yoshitaka Mijugi, or Sakura Yoshitaka Midoriya. As for that of MHA girls, haven't fully decided yet. Haven't really got that far, to be honest. Still on a little bit of writer block for that story. But still, I'm not giving it up anytime soon since it's my first one. Here is a quote from this version. No matter what world I go in, things are never black and white as people like to believe they are. It's always gray when you look at it personally, closely as well. Because I've learned twisted people can hide in the light, while good people have to hide in the shadows. Next up, another one of my ongoing series for this channel, that being Shinobi Deu, or, as the story is called, the hero of Senrin Kagura. Yep, another one of my other popular series for this channel. So given the things that he has to go through, it's going to be quite funny when Canon Deku finds out about this one. Main name, Izuku Midoriya. Hero name, haven't really decided yet. I'm currently going through that of the, USJ incident as I'm writing the scripts for the story. Haven't even got to the sports festival yet. But here's a placeholder for that of his hero name for the time being until then. Deku Kage. Quirk, one for all, and ninju training from that of his father and masters as well. His love interest? Well, he has a harem, of course. If you have not seen that of my, story, then yeah. It's basically almost all of the main girls from the Senran Kagura series. It's just that I'm not trying to make it a collectathon, after all. Izuku has to earn their love and respect, after all, and find a way to keep it. But I'm going with that of the main 4 girls that are basically the poster children of this series. Asuka, Homura, Yumi, and last but not least, Miyabi. Given that they were Izuku's first, confession/girlfriends, kind of makes sense that they would be here instead of the other girls, of course. The quote from this version: "All my life I believed that heroes are always symbols of good. Always the good guys, saving the day and protecting others. But I realized when training as shinobi, there's no such thing as true good, and no such thing as true evil. After all, that's what it means to be human. We're a complex species, after all." Next up are 2 versions I basically dropped, mainly because I didn't want to get overwhelmed by basically oversaturating my channel with nothing but Deku What-Ifs, and basically it would be too much, and not only that, when I was starting making scripts for them and was planning to record them, I felt like I was just, making copy and paste of other, fanfics out there from Wattpad, fanfic.net, and AO3. And there's one thing I hate when it comes to my writing: I hate not being original. So yeah, that's why I had to drop them. And you may have asked, why not just start over? Tried, just did not work either way, no matter how much I did. Story did not flow properly, or the narrative either. So yeah. Anyways, with now that little rant out of the way, let's get back into it. First up, Onmyoji Deku. Basically, the story was, what if Deku can summon that was a spirit sorcerer called Spirit Hero Deku. For this, I will go in at least a little bit of detail. In this story, Izuku was taken in by that of distant relatives on that of his, mother's side, actually, after a certain little accident. And then, finding out that his family is secretly Onmyoji, the fight against that of evil yokai and oni spirits as well. Name: Izuku Midoriya. However, switched the name, he became Izuku Momochi. We never found out what Inko's original maiden name was before she married Hisashi Midoriya, after all. She's always been Inko Midoriya. So I basically just made it up and basically gave it to Izuku, after all, and his distant relatives. So yeah. Hero name: Shintetsu. His love interest: basically a whole new original character, actually, alongside one MHA character. The OC is basically a childhood friend of this Deku during the story. Her name was Ai Yamagishi. And yes, she's basically a Jairu/Gao, actually. Come on, think how funny it is for a traditionalist, Onmyoji dating a Gao, of all things. It's kind of funny. As for the MHA girl that basically fell in love with Izuku, it's Momo Yaoyorozu. The reason being, they have somewhat of a connection. Won't say what kind of connection, but it's a connection. Just wait until when the first couple chapters come out. A quote from this Deku: "Humans and spirits are no different from one another. They all have pride, they all have an ego, they all have honor, and they all have jealousy, and they all have evil. No matter what, just because things seem different doesn't mean that they truly are." The next, fanfic that I dropped as well, being that of Madara Deku. Yep, you heard me right. Madara Deku. In this story, basically, Madara was reincarnated into the body of Izuku Midoriya. However, he wasn't truly fully Madara, actually. More like the souls of both Izuku's newborn soul and Madara's, our ancient soul basically fused together to become somebody else. To become the current Izuku. A man who basically wants to do good and help others, but is not afraid to kill and basically destroy those who get in his way if they hurt innocent lives. Not only that, well, there's another thing, the reason why I kind of dropped this story, and it has to do with this Izuku's main name. Main name, Izuku Yagi. Soon name change to that of Izuku Uchiha. This one does not have a hero name. Instead, this one has that of a vigilante code name instead. So yeah, this one is a vigilante. Vigilante code name, Red Eyes. It's not what he chose for himself, it's what the public chose for him actually. Quirkless. Instead, has the power of the Sharingan. Both the 3 Tomoe Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan, and the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. All from Madara himself. Reincarnated into the body of Izuku Midoriya. As for the Rinnegan, well, when I was writing the story for it, he was gaining it, but I decided just to drop that. Honestly, just the Eternal Mangekyo is enough for this story, actually. So yeah. So no 10 Tails / Sage with 6 Paths, well, Izuku Midoriya. Love interest? Kaina Sasumi, aka Lady Nagant. He also had a child with her too, but that's another time. Quote, heroes, villains, they're all the same. They all just care about themselves, never really caring about those who are truly left behind by society. That's why I'll rebuild society with these 2 hands and these 2 eyes. And this is the last Deku variant for this, well, story after all. This one is for an upcoming fanfic I'm writing for that of this channel, and it's going to be on my birthday. This version is Commander Deku. Basically, a Deku that's in that of the military, but not just any military. The military from that of Goddesses of Victory, Nikkei. Basically, the mobile game about android girls with that of nice bodies basically killing that of robots on the surface while fighting for humanity. I kind of got the idea, not just because we're playing Nikkei, but also because of MHA not bring up the fact that they basically don't have a military anymore. Think about it, they relied so much on that of heroes to the point I think they liquidated the military for Japan. Like during the whole, crisis when the Dark Deku arc was happening, normally the Japanese Defense Force would have came in to make sure that martial law was instated to make sure to keep everybody safe. Not only that, many other military divisions would have also done the same to keep the stability of Japan going and not have any other countries basically attacking them as well. I mean, come on. That's one of the many criticisms I have with that of MHA. But again, that's just me. Name, Izuku Midoriya. Hero name, or rather title, the hero of the arc and the guardian of the goddesses. Quirkless. Years of military training and studied in that of firearms, close quarters combat, and proficient with any type of weapon known to man, and a small army of basically voluptuous robot girls that are formerly humans to basically kill anybody that stands in his way. As a plus side, love interests actually has plenty, and if you've seen the girls from Nikkei, then you would know why. Unfortunately, I'm only going to be using those from the counter squad. So Rappy, Anais, Neon, Marion, and the Red Hood. For the other Nikkei squad, I'm sorry guys. I don't want to bog this down too much after all. A quote from this Deku: heroes come in all shapes and sizes. It just took me a long time to realize that. And being honestly, I'm more happy being part of the military than staying in Japan being hated for just being me. And that is all of the Dekus. Yep, that's every single one that will be part of this story. Chapter 1 through that of 5 are already done, and I'm planning on recording sometime soon, actually. Hopefully, it'll be sooner than later. But after all, my main channel comes first, to be honest. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos uploaded on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my main channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below if I'm not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys. Hope you all take care and look forward to my appreciation and love for MHA through this story.